dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sith Talk. Today we have on the show Patrick from the Turntable to the Dark Side Instagram and YouTube channel. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm doing really good, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie, this is my first podcast, and anybody
Nice.
who does follow me knows that I don't really show my face, so this is
Yeah.
a unique experience for me.
Awesome, bro. I feel
Yeah,
honored for you to come on and do, the face reveal and all that good stuff here. So I appreciate
yeah,
that.
of course, of course.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel and where we can find you at?
Well, predominantly, I'm Instagram. I would say only for a while there, but I'm doing my best to branch out. And I made a TikTok the other day,
Mm.
about 20 minutes after they announced the ban. So I'm not really sure how that's going to pan out, but
Yeah.
kind of funny timing there. But I do have a YouTube as well. I'm not nearly as established as you, my friend. But maybe we'll get there. I'm hoping to do some more long form stuff here in the very near future. But right now it's mostly Instagram shorts and just goofy, silly nonsense related to Star Wars and collecting.
Yeah. So for you guys watching, be sure to check out his Instagram page and YouTube. I'll put the link down in the description. I've been following your Instagram for a minute because like it's always like funny memes or like just awesome collection posts. So like when I ran into you at ICC and you introduced yourself and then you said your Instagram name right away, I'm like, oh, that's the dude with the crazy room that has like everything in it. So yeah, man, you're definitely crushing it on there on Instagram, like very consistent. Like you're almost to 10K
Yeah.
on there, right?
I'm getting real close, and I mean, I'll be
Nice.
honest. That's a huge motivating factor to start branching out. And
Hmm.
I mean, I hope people like what I'm doing. It's fun, you know.
Yeah.
So I'd love to keep doing more. And I mean, honestly, I've been following you for quite some time now too,
Mm.
and very very inspired by all that you do, and especially your YouTube presence. And so anyway, just impressed by you. That's all. You know.
Awesome. Thank you, man. No, I appreciate that, man. Appreciate
Of
that.
course.
So everyone that comes on, we start off with 3 questions. You ready?
Sure.
So the first one is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Oh man, I'm gonna go hard stereotypical.
Uh-huh.
With of course it's Empire. I mean, it's so hard to pick anything other than that, just because every single scene is like, oh yeah, the meme from that one. Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
everything is so iconic and pivotal. And I mean, like we have Hoth, we have Cloud City. It's Dagobah. I mean, the list goes on. But that said, obviously, I have a soft spot, if I could talk, in my heart for Revenge of the Sith. I mean, it's really hard to go wrong with that one. It is
Yeah.
chef's kiss.
Yes. No, that's usually most people's like tough decision. It's either Empire or Revenge. That's what I hear
Yeah,
like the most. And like literally you can't go wrong with either one. Like they're both just
truly.
classics. So
Yeah.
nice, nice. Now the next one is, what's your favorite Star Wars show?
Ugh, that as they come out, it gets harder.
Yeah.
I loved Ahsoka. Uh, Seeing Hayden with Snips, it brought a tear to my eye, much like I'm sure it did yours
Yes.
and every other Star
Yes.
Wars fan out there, just geeking
Yeah.
out. So it's hard to beat that moment, I guess. But
Hmm.
as far as a show, I'm a sucker for Mandalorian. I mean, I'm wearing my Boba Fett hat.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Mando. I think mainly because it was, well, maybe not mainly because, but it had a lot to do with the fact that I had no expectations. I didn't know what we were getting. It was like,
Yeah.
I even remember saying, "Oh, who cares about that? It's just going to be a side project. It's not going to be that big a deal."
Yep.
And it's my number one still. So I mean, I probably need to clarify specifically. Season 2 is my favorite. Season
Uh-huh.
3 was really good. I think I liked it a lot more than maybe most people, but it still took a turn, that I guess we weren't expecting. But I still enjoyed it. I just love Mando. This is the way, right?
Yeah, Mando, and like you nailed it that we had no expectation. Like we went into Mando not knowing a thing, and like, oh, this
Mm-hmm.
dude looks like Boba Fett. It's probably gonna be cool. And
Yeah,
season 1 and season 2, just like next level. And it's set such
truly.
a high bar, especially, and it's kind of like a gift and a curse because that finale of season 2, now like every finale we get, like we expect it to like meet or beat that, and it's nearly impossible. So, that
I
that
don't know
Luke
if it is
episode was
possible.
special.
Yeah.
The well, for the closest thing was Anakin and Ahsoka. Getting Anakin and Ahsoka
Yes.
was special, like Luke in that one episode.
Yeah.
But as
I
far
definitely
as
agree
like,
with
yeah, as far as finale, nothing's touching that, man. It's freaking Luke. So
that.
crazy.
I still, and I feel like I'd love to hear, your uh, where you were at the time when you watched it the first time. Because I mean, I was in a different house. I can close my eyes and see myself sitting there watching that
Yeah.
episode at like 5 in the morning or something. I got up early to watch it for work, and I'm not embarrassed to say I might have teared up just a wee bit, but it was it doesn't get better than that, truly.
Yeah, so for me, I remember I woke up at 3 a.m., right? Because I'm on
Hmm.
Eastern time. So woke up at 3
Yeah.
a.m. to watch it. And like it's like 3:50, and then the X-Wing comes in, and I'm like, what? Wait, what's going on? And then you see the scene where they're walking down the hallway, but you just see a hood up and a silhouette. So I'm like, oh, it's probably Ahsoka. That's because she was just in a few episodes
True.
ago.
True. Yeah.
So I was like, it's Ahsoka. I'm like, there's no way that's Luke. And then it cuts to the scene where you see the black glove with the green saber ignited. And I jumped up off the couch and I was standing like 6 inches from the TV, like, is that Luke? Is that Luke? And you see him cutting down the dark troopers using the force,
Yeah.
and you're like, that's Luke, but it can't be. And then we
It's
get
really
to
happening.
I know. We get to that hallway scene was badass, and
Oh, it
then
was
he
so
he
awesome.
yeah, he goes in, like deignites the lightsaber, puts it on his belt, takes the hood off, and you see that as Luke. And like that moment hit so hard, the theme changed, and like
Hmm.
I I just didn't believe it. And what brought the tear to my eye was a few minutes later when R2 rolled in. Because I wasn't even thinking R2 was in the X-Wing. And like
Same. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
seeing R2, I was like the tears, man. And that final shot, it's like if you would have shown me that picture a year ago, I would have been like, that's fake. With Luke holding Grogu and
Yeah.
R2 in the elevator, it just was just beautiful. And like that version of Luke is the Luke that's in my mind. Like that's the version of Luke I expected in the sequels, but we
Hmm.
got it there in Mando, like badass Jedi Knight Luke. Like it was just so special, man.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I know that I watched a couple of these in preparation just so I knew what I was getting myself into. And there were everybody that, or not everybody, but quite a few folks that you've had on. I mean, the reaction's all the same. It's all,
Yeah.
yeah, I got close to crying, but I didn't, and oh, I bawled like a baby. I mean, I was definitely in the latter camp. I'm just not even
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it was just so like, oh, that was such a special day. And we rarely get that feeling. Like we got it with Anakin.
gonna
And
pretend.
I can't think of another time I felt that way. Maybe Clone Wars season 7, the Order 66 episode, and
That's
hearing
true.
Hayden's voice and Samuel L. Jackson's voice and Ian McDermott's voice, and just like that fight, like that would be the next closest. But it's
Mhm.
rare nowadays to feel like that satisfied as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's at least with Star Wars, everything's divisive these days. I feel like, but
Oh yeah.
that is a unifying scene that everyone
Yeah.
loves. And I
Yep.
mean, I've literally never talked to a single person that was like, "Yeah, that was trash."
Yeah.
It's oh man, I swear most of the time people were like, "Yeah, I cheered up a little bit,"
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I mean, I was right there with them. So.
Yeah, I wish we had more stuff like that where it was universal, because I feel like that
Mhm.
week where we got Ahsoka in Anakin and Ahsoka, like everybody was happy. It was weird that for that week
Yeah.
from episode to episode, it was like everybody was happy, nobody was fighting, it was positive. And then after that, when we got Thrawn, then it's like, oh, he was fat, he didn't do
Yeah.
anything. Yeah,
Oh, he looks
but
like Elon Musk.
yeah,
That was my
yeah,
favorite. And frankly, it is kind of true and it is kind of
he
funny,
did.
but I
He did.
still loved it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's so hilarious. So the last question: who's your
Sure.
favorite Star Wars character?
You're just full of impossible questions.
Yep.
It changes.
Hmm.
It's per era. I mean, I always have liked Obi-Wan, specifically Ewan's
Hmm.
version. I mean, I'm 34, so I grew up at the perfect time for Phantom Menace,
Yep.
and he was my dude. I'd years earlier been introduced to the OT by my dad on VHS, which was fun
Yeah.
to
Yep.
constantly rewind and rewatch. And anyway,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
um, so Obi-Wan was always a favorite character. And seeing him, as a young Jedi was really cool. As a kid, but I, TV show wise, I'd say I like I told you earlier, I've kind of fallen in love with Mando. So new era Disney stuff, I might say Mando, but classically so probably I'll stick with Obi Wan.
Kenobi. Nice. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So one of the first things I want to talk about today is like your collection and just collecting in general. So like what do you mainly collect? Because I feel like I see you with like all the latest TVC Black Series. So like what is like your main thing that you hunt and get?
Well, I am primarily Black Series Vintage Collection. I have a smattering of like some Funkos, and I have
Mhm.
a handful of Hot Toys. I love vintage Kenner stuff, and I'm doing my
Yeah.
best to kind of get into that. But man, that is an expensive hill to climb.
Yeah, it's a dangerous
you know,
rabbit hole because you want to get everything. You want to complete the 96. You want to get the creature. Yeah, the vehicles. Yeah, it's dangerous.
all the play sets. Oh man, it's just there's so much
Yes.
stuff. Um, but also Micro Galaxy Squadron, which I don't collect complete. Like I don't have every single one, but
Mhm.
I'll kind of cherry pick out the vehicles I really like. Like I got all the um, LAATs and oh god,
Nice.
what else? Like the Mando ships, of course. So I got Slave One and or Boba Fett Starships Fire Spray, whatever we're calling it these
Yeah,
days.
I hate that,
Uh,
man. Oh,
I do too. It's hard to break the habit, really,
yeah.
of calling it Slave One for 20 something years, or
Yeah.
um, but I have all the Razor Crests. Like I said, I'm very focused on Mando, even though I have a
Mhm.
little bit of everything. That's probably the bulk of my collection. Is Mando adjacent stuff, I should say. So not necessarily all T visor helmets,
Yeah, yeah.
but still things that were in or around Mando, Boba Fett. I mean, that's kind of my bag.
Nice.
Yeah. So
So
I think I
which
answered the question.
no, of course. Which
I
so out of
meandered a little bit.
no, it's all good. So out of the two between
Mhm.
TVC scale and Black Series, which do you prefer? Which is your favorite out of the two?
Oh man, that is a fandom shattering question right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love them both. I mean, I'm a sucker for the Kenner card back look.
Oof,
So
yeah.
that's why I got into I mean, you can see I still keep them in the packaging, and I'm
Yep.
one of those that doesn't open the TVC stuff. I do generally open most of my Black Series,
Mhm.
just because the nostalgia factor I get isn't there for me quite like it is with
Yeah.
the Kenner looking card backs. Um, but so I don't know. It's really hard to say. I think I prefer Black Series just because they're a little more
Ooh.
fun to deal with. Like when you're posing them and actually
Yeah.
playing with them, it's a little easier to balance them. You're not constantly picking up like I just have the hardest time sometimes getting, because I used to do toy photography years
Oh.
ago on my Instagram page, and it's the hardest to get vintage collection figures to pose sometimes.
Yeah. No, for
Um,
sure.
and like so I'd have to do things where I'd get like a little stand where the arm would hold like the figure up off screen, and then I'd have to edit it out or something. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Clearly, I love the vintage collection. But as far as playability is concerned, the Black Series wins. I'm sorry, guys. That is going to be. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to get roasted for that for sure.
No,
Oh
that
shoot! I'm
is
losing my headphone here.
too funny. That's interesting though. Black Series over TVC. For me, I like both. I'm greedy and selfish, but I think I'm more of a TVC guy just because
Oh yeah.
those card backs, man. Like just some of the images they get on there are just so dope. Like whether it's from like iconic scene or they just look so good on it. So like this whole wall is all like TVC, and like I'm one of the crazy ones where I get two of everything because I want to keep one carded on the wall. Yeah. Oh, but do you open the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I do and I don't. It depends on the figure, and typically like I do my best to not buy two at full price if I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
help it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, of
But
course.
if it's a figure that, like, I'm trying to think of a good example, like Star Killer, like
Ooh.
that's gonna sell out. So I went ahead and bought two of those. That
Yeah.
makes sense. But I'm probably not going to buy two Landos. I'll get one for $2 and open them up. No big deal.
Oh, he finally went on clearance. I bought a second one on clearance the other day for
Nice.
389, and it felt so good to take one off the shelf after 3 years of hunting, and it's always there and never going
You're
on
doing your
sale. That drove
part.
me nuts. I know. I know.
Yeah, you're doing a service to the collecting
Yeah.
community. So thank you.
Yes, yes, man. But speaking
Um,
of prices, I don't
yeah.
know if you've been finding stuff in your area, but like since November, I have been going to Ross for 5 months straight and finding
Mhm.
consistently a ton of TVC figures for 399 and a ton of Black Series for 599. Like a good variety. Have you been noticing that in your area too?
Well, yes and no.
Uh
I'm from Nashville, so we have a scalper network that wakes up at 7
oh,
a.m. and goes around to every single one of the stores and buys up all the good stuff. Like, I've
what?
never seen one of those like 30, 40, whatever dollar lightsabers that Ross has.
39.99.
No. I
Wow.
walked in to Ross looking for one of those. I think it was right before Christmas when the Ray ones were kind of dripping
Yeah,
out
yeah.
again. And I ended up talking to this real nice lady for a really long time, and kind
Mhm.
of, she at first was making fun of me looking for swords. Um, but eventually she was super cool and
Yeah.
was like, "Look, honey, I hate to tell you this, but we had 10 of those. I stocked them this morning," and showed me right where they were and everything. And I
Yeah.
think it was like 11. So they hadn't been open, but for maybe a few hours,
Yeah.
and it was every single one of them was gone. Somebody just came in, grabbed them all up, went up to the front, and that
Wow.
was it. So the good stuff is hard to come by.
Yeah.
That said, I did get an Axe Woves for I think it was like 4.99, 5.99, something like that the other day. So
Mhm.
there are still things, but they have to definitively be the less desirable stuff, as most hate to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that sucks because I'm over here in Florida and I live in
Mhm.
between 4 Rosses, so I'm kinda
Oh my
spoiled.
god!
Yeah, so, like,
Wow.
whenever I go, I start at the furthest one, and then I do a loop
Yeah.
to go to all of them in one shot because you
Nice.
never know what you get. So, like, I've
Yeah.
been regularly finding, like, stuff, and it's to the point where I'm just like, I don't wanna say I'm sick of seeing it, but, like, it's just crazy the stuff I see online because people are finding the 40th wave of TVC, all the skiff guards are finding all those right
Yeah.
now. They're finding the Black Series wave with Ayla Sakura and that whole wave. They're finding that. I haven't found those yet, but it's just like for me, with Hasbro's prices going up like crazy, it's like, why do I even want to get anything when I could just get lucky at Ross or getting stuff on clearance? Because even their website, did you notice they have an outlet section now and they have stuff on sale on there? They've never done that
So
before.
it's funny you mentioned that because
Yeah.
I noticed that too. And the funny part, the reason I snickered so much, um, if you noticed originally when they first did it, it was a clearance tab. And then I
Yeah.
guess some higher ups were like, actually, wait, we can't be perceived as clearancing our own products. Let's change it to outlet. So now it's called outlet deals or something like that.
Yeah.
And I know it's
Yeah.
silly, but I just that cracks me up.
Yeah. So it's wild. And like I was it the Black Series Jabba was just like almost half price. That Star Killer
Yes.
3-pack, they knocked a chunk off and it's still sitting there.
Hmm.
I kind of wanted it, but now it's kind of like, do I play the waiting game? And if it doesn't sell out, are they going to send those to Ollie's or to Ross? Because I have Ollie's stores by me too, and
Oh wow.
I found the Axe Wolves helmet at Ollie's for $39.99. I got Captain
The jealousy.
Cap. Yeah, I'm spoiled over here in Florida. I
That's
found
so awesome, dude.
the Captain America Winter Soldier shield for like $29.99. I picked that up too.
Wow,
So
that's cool.
it's like nowadays I'm more just playing the waiting game unless it's a character that I love, like how you mentioned Star
Hmm.
Killer. Oh, he's gonna sell out.
Oh yeah.
The Hera TVC is hitting Walmart's now. I saw Yak Face posted about it the other day, so
Hmm.
I'm probably gonna go buy her just because I backed the Ghost, so I need her to have
Oh,
loose for the Ghost. So like I'll
absolutely.
splurge right there. But speaking of HasLab, did you back the Ghost?
Hmm. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. My biggest regret in collecting is skipping the sail barge.
Ooh.
It just still kills me.
Yeah.
I almost did it, but I was just not in a position to be able to swing it at the time. And
Uh-huh.
now it's, I mean, I'm sure you've looked. It's like I think the cheapest I've seen
2,500.
them is 12. Yeah, exactly. Or wow,
Yeah.
2,500 now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
like sometimes on the high end, but I think the cheapest I've seen is
Hmm.
maybe like 15 or like 2.
Okay.
I don't
Wow,
know,
they've gone
man.
up.
It's tough. Yeah.
That is
It's
rough.
tough,
But
man.
yes, I did back the Ghost. I mean, I love Rebels. I couldn't pass that up, especially knowing that it was going to be Ahsoka. Um, did I sell some things to make it happen? Maybe, but
Oh,
I
of
made it
course.
happen. You know,
When you get it, the carded figures, are you going to open them or
Mhm.
leave them carded?
I'm gonna have to leave them carded.
Yeah, me too.
What about you?
I've never had any figures graded. I'm sending those right away to get graded because if I'm gonna leave them carded,
Ooh,
I might as well get them graded. They're super
yeah,
rare, and I ordered 2 of the Sabine and Chopper 2-packs to match it.
me
So
too.
I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna send one. I'm gonna send one to get graded with them. That way, I'll
Yeah,
have the whole set graded, and the other 2 I'm gonna open
that's
up to
so
put
cool.
on the display. Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Even
That
though
was a
the
smart move.
yeah, the price for that 2-pack was ridiculous. I didn't even realize it. I just ordered it because I knew I needed it, and then I'm like, "Wait,
Hmm.
it was like $80, right? Or what was it for the 2 figures? Or
Whoa, I
60
think it was
bucks?
50. I think it was. It
50
might have been 60. Might have
59
been 60.
59 yeah,
Yeah,
and it didn't even occur to me. I was like, "I just need it, pre-order it, I'll figure it out later." And then I saw
yeah.
people complaining about the price, and I'm like, "Oh, shit. You guys are right. This is a ripoff." But I have the Ghost. It's kinda like I have no choice because I need those figures for the Ghost, you know?
And they, if I'm not mistaken, that is one that they were very upfront that they were not going to, do a single carded release of or anything like
Yeah.
that. That was your
Yep.
chance, take it or leave it. Now, I mean, they've gone back on things like that before, so maybe they'll change their mind and release it in a couple years. But
Yeah.
I wasn't holding my breath, so I did the same thing. No
Do you
shame.
have do you have a spot? Do you know where you're gonna display it when you get it?
Um,
It's huge, man. It's like 3 foot by three
um,
foot.
I really don't. I'm looking over at where I was considering putting it,
Uh-huh.
but currently, here I'll kind of pivot a little bit.
Oh man,
You
look
know,
at this.
I have the Falcon and the Razor Crest,
Yeah.
and I just don't know where to put it. I might have to pack up the Falcon or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
place is a mess too, by the way. Sorry. Oh yeah, it's a head of Vader.
Oh, nice. Nice. So, did you
Yeah.
catch today's live stream from Hasbro?
No, unfortunately, I was working. And dude, I
Oh,
completely forgot about it. Actually, normally I
yeah.
try to put it in my ear and listen to it
Listen.
or something,
Yeah.
and I'll just go look at Yak's posts later
Yeah.
on
Yep.
and see everything. But because I don't really care about as they reveal it. As long as I know
Yeah.
what's coming and know when the pre-orders are,
Yeah.
that's all I care about. But did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I live streamed, reacted to it this morning.
Oh,
So
nice.
it there was some okay stuff. It was kind of disappointing. Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise, two more Mando TVCs that are gonna come. Well, you want to know one of them, or do you care if I tell you, or you want to
Yeah, no,
like
no. Go ahead and tell me. No.
so at the end, one of the pipelines was a TVC blurg with Mando. So that's kind of cool getting a
That's
blurg.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
but, like, the first thing I said was, "I don't need a Mando with the blurg to raise the price of it. I have Quill ready to be ripped open and ride it. I don't need that." And
Yeah.
then the pipeline right next to it was a Moff Gideon cruiser playset, and I didn't realize it, but it's the scene where Moff is fighting Mando with the Darksaber. So there's gonna be another Mando in there. So it's kinda like every live stream, they give us another Mando TVC figure, man. It's crazy.
I'm perplexed by especially the last bit you said about Moff Gideon because I'm glancing over at the rescue set right now, and
Yeah.
is it not just that set? I mean,
No, it's a different set. It's like it's just a hallway where because the rescue set has the dark trooper in it, right? With the flames and
it
stuff.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, this one, it just like it was just a shot of the scene. So I don't know what it comes with, but it showed
Mm,
the dark saber, and then I think that's when Mando had the spear and when they were fighting
yeah.
in that
Yeah.
hallway. So it's kind of like that, and I'm like, but there was a dope announcement. So they
Hmm.
kind of teased the next HasLab.
Okay.
So they're gonna let us
What do you think it's
they're
going to be?
well, they're gonna reveal it officially the week of May the 4th. I don't know if it's on May the 4th or just that week. The only
Hmm.
thing they told us it's TVC scale. And I was like, oh, okay, that's good. Because TVC HasLabs usually hit better than the Black Series ones. So
Yeah.
I have no idea what it could be. Like, I
What
don't
was
know.
I haven't had any time to look it up. I'll be honest. But like, was there a promo image or anything that was kind of like
They just
a
said it. They just
hint?
said it. They didn't show us no visuals. They just
Uh,
said the HasLab's coming. We're gonna show you May the 4th. And it's TVC, and that was it. And they were like, "Bye."
hmm.
Now, I know before the Ghost came out, wasn't the longest rumor that it was either going to be the Ghost or the Ewok playset, or maybe even a
Yeah,
Sandcrawler. So
I
I
remember
don't
the
know.
Ewok playset definitely. I
Yeah,
hadn't heard the Sandcrawler. That would be awesome. I'd love for it
I
to be
would
that.
I would love because like technically they can make it a Mando Sandcrawler because the Sandcrawler was in that at least one episode, if not more,
Yeah,
and they made a million Jawas for the freaking Mandalorian, and they love Mick giving us a new Mando. They could give Mando on the side of the Sandcrawler. So,
God, that's so
um,
crazy to me that there's two more Mandos.
I know, and I think I joked before the stream that we're probably gonna get
Mhm.
another Mando, another Grogu, because every
Yeah,
HasLab live stream, I feel like it's always that recycle mode. So yeah, man.
yeah. I mean, I hate to agree, but trends are noticeable, and well, they're not fooling us with that one. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So
saying what I did about Mando being my property of choice, I guess.
yeah.
Of course, I'm going to buy them, but I'm not gonna feel great about it.
So you have every Mando that released TVC and Black Series?
I do, yeah. I'm
It's a
even so
lot, right?
crazy. It's a lot, dude. Yeah. I have a shelf that I'm kind of glancing at now. It's
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, there's like 20 just on that shelf.
Wow.
Now Black Series Vintage Collection, I went a little bit further, and I have all the Mafex ones. I have the SH Figure Arts ones.
Oh.
I'm in deep, man.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
also got the Hot Toys ones.
Oh, and that
Yeah, I love me
what?
some
You,
Mando.
you have every Mando hot toy? Because there's like, isn't there like at least 10 of them?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no.
okay,
I'm
okay,
sorry. I
okay.
should have clarified. No, God, no.
Okay. I was
That'd
gonna say there's a lot of
kill.
Din hot toys. A
There
lot.
is. Yeah. No, I have the second release, and then I have the most recent one that's a little more shiny. The best card's a little
Mm,
shinier.
yeah, yeah.
I'd love to get that blurg. I'd love to get
Mm,
the speeder. So I am pretty excited that they're doing a blurg and finish collection. That'll be awesome. Even if we got to
yeah,
get another Mando, I'll take it. Fine.
I know. I'm curious what the price is, but like I kind of would want like at least two of them because you're gonna want to have like Quill on one, Mando on the other, and like you can have fun with that, making a scene, man. Like really, really fun stuff for sure.
I feel like it would make sense to collectors. I mean, you said it perfectly. The vintage collection is for world building. You why not make a 2 pack of those or a 2 pack of blurgs instead of
Yeah,
include the Mando? It's to get you to buy two, but then you got double Mandos, and
I
who needs
know.
that
There's
many?
already
Me
there's too
apparently.
many Mandos lying around. Even Funko, like when I was had a bunch of like Mando Funkos, at one point
Hmm.
I had like 10 of them and I'm looking at all of them and they all look the same. And it's crazy because one of them I had was a New York Comic Con shared exclusive and it was going
Yeah,
for like 250 or 200, something like that.
that one's
And
one of the
then
more expensive ones. Yeah,
and I'm looking at every other one that's like $10, $20. I'm like, bro, this shit looks the same. I sold it. I'm like, I like it looks the same. I don't. It's just the sticker. So I remember selling that one because like
yeah,
the Amazon exclusive with the Chrome looked better than the New York Comic Con one that was going for so much. So it's like I don't need this. So
yeah.
yeah,
The
man,
Chrome
it's
was the
just
coolest one in my opinion. I love
it
that one.
is. It really is like hands down. So now
And
the
I'm
next
not
thing.
huge on Funko. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just say I love I have Funko. I collect. I wouldn't say I'm a Funko collector, but
Yeah,
I concentrate on Mando specific stuff. So
yeah.
you happen to mention all the Mandos looking the same. I literally have a wall of like every single one of those Mandos staring at me right
And they all look the same except for the chrome
now.
and
They
like
do.
the unmasked. But yeah, it's like you can't
Yeah,
tell which is which is GameStop, which is the Walmart one, which is like the
not
New
at
York
all.
Comic Con.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's
But
so
I
crazy.
gotta get that Mando,
Yeah,
It's
yep.
just
No, I'm the
couldn't help
same
myself.
With Darth Maul. Everything Darth Maul I have. So even if it looks the
Yeah.
same, like I just need it. I just need it. So
Is it a
I
variant?
know the
Yeah, I
feeling.
must have it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
So
awesome.
the next thing I wanted to get into was ICC Con. So I ran into you
Yeah.
there. Was that your
Mhm.
first ICC Con?
That was the second time I've been. The first time I went, they did it in I forget what the venue was called.
Sheraton?
No, it wasn't the hotel one. They did it in a it was a like
Oh,
agricultural center.
okay.
So it was a big pit. They have rodeos and stuff like that there,
Was
and
that
it
the
was super
first
cool.
one? The first one? Like a
Uh,
while ago?
I don't think I went to the first one. I have a
Okay.
friend who knows Michael. I think's his name. The
Yeah, yeah,
the
Michael
dude.
Havens.
Yeah, Havens. There you go. So he's been to most of them, but I think that was maybe two or they'd done two before I went. I've only been
Mm.
twice. I went the time I saw you, and then that one other time. And so I've never been to the hotel. I am looking forward to that setup. Have you been to one at the hotel, or was the last one your
No.
first one?
So my first one was the one that we both were at that the equestrian place or whatever it was called.
I
So I
love
had a
the place. It was cool.
I did. Yeah, I loved it. And
Yeah.
like it was funny. The minute I walked in, I was like, man, I feel at home. I'm coming to this show every year just because like
Nice.
all the booths and vendors, it just felt like Star Wars Celebration, but on a smaller scale, cheaper, less people. It was beautiful. So you're going again this year, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm
Yes.
local, so
Oh,
it's like
that's
a 30-45 minute drive for me. Not too bad. So yeah, I that's one when they're that close, you can't miss them, right?
yeah, and like it literally does feel like a Star. Have you ever been to like a Star Wars Celebration
Mhm.
convention before?
Well, I've only been to one. I went to the one that was rescheduled like 3 times. It was supposed to be in
Anaheim?
2020. Yeah, that one. So
Yes,
finally went
yes.
2022. Did you go to that one?
Yeah, that so I
Okay.
literally started my channel. My YouTube channel started. My very first video is Anaheim
Mhm.
Celebration
Oh,
2022.
that's awesome.
So
Nice.
it Anaheim was my third celebration. I did 2017 Orlando, 2019 Chicago, and I just loved them. And
Yeah.
I saw not a lot of people that were Star Wars fans knew what celebration was. So that's why I made my channel to kind of cover it, show what it is, how it
Mhm.
works, how much fun you could have there. So I was there, but like, what was your experience there at your first celebration?
Thankfully, my buddy and his wife were there too, and they kind of held my hand and didn't let me get too lost in all the madness.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it's a lot. I mean, I've been to conventions over the years, Comic Cons, but it's all been on the scale of like ICC, which is still pretty
Yeah.
big. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, Celebration's just a whole other beast. The lines and just the waiting to get in, and
Yes.
it's so overwhelming. It's a blast,
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yep.
But man, it really, especially when you're introverted like me, it kind of pushes you to your limits, certainly.
Oh yeah. No,
But no,
I'm
I had
I'm
a
the same way
blast.
too. Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
definitely introverted too, but like when I'm there, you just feel more at home because it's all Star Wars. So it's not like you go to New
yeah,
York Comic Con and it's a mix and like people are cosplaying and you're like, I don't know what you
mhm,
are. At Celebration, like, oh, I know you, you
yeah.
like this, like you feel more at home, so it makes it a little bit easier. But
Mhm.
were you there all 4 days?
I kind of came in late on Thursday and walked the floor a little bit. Got my pass,
Mhm.
walked around,
Yeah.
took a couple videos, just for fun, took some pictures. Went to the Hasbro booth, but everything was covered up, at the time.
Yeah.
And I left a little bit early on Saturday, but I mean, I'm sorry, Sunday, but
Uh-huh.
I was there open to finish the rest of the time. And did
Nice.
you do the what was it called, the Mandalorian experience?
No, so I didn't get a
Oh, so
chance to
awesome.
make it to that. You did it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
How
we got it
how
was
how was it?
the only thing that I won out of the
Raffles?
raffle
Oh,
system. Yeah. Oh god. That
yeah.
every morning, I mean, that's actually it's funny that we bring that up. That was the worst part about it, is waking up
Yep.
in the morning and not knowing, like, is this gonna go sideways or not? And pulling
Yep.
out your phone and frantically trying to enter all the things you wanted to go
Yeah.
see. And did you win anything cool? Did you get to go in to any
S
panels or?
so I had a 4-day pass, and I with
Mhm.
my 4-day pass, I entered for all the panels, right? I lost
Oh,
every
wow.
single one. I lost every
Wow.
single panel. But a few days before, a buddy of mine got us VIP passes at a really good price. So with
Wow.
VIP, you don't need to enter. They save you seats at every panel. So with that, I got into every panel, the Lucasfilm panel, the
That's
Ahsoka
so
panel, the
cool.
Mando panel.
Yeah.
So that was a blessing. And with that, going to the Lucasfilm panel, we got bracelets to come back for the red carpet Obi-Wan Kenobi premiere that night. So we got to
Oh.
watch the first 2 episodes of Kenobi with the entire cast of the show, which was mind-blowing. Like 5,000 of
Yeah.
us in an auditorium with Hayden and Hewitt on stage, all of them, and we watched it together, which was insane. So like for future celebrations, if you could hustle up a VIP, it is
Mhm.
worth it because you could sleep in because you get in early. You don't got to wake up to line up early. You get in early. You could walk right into the show store. You walk right into the panels. It's like you feel like a king in
You
a
walk right into the
castle.
store too. Wow.
Yeah, that's you seen that
Oh, that
store
was so
line. That store
intense,
line.
dude.
Yeah, you walk right in and you get a discount, and there's a VIP
Mhm.
checkout line, so you don't even have to wait in the regular checkout line in the store.
Jeez, if only I'd known. It was my first
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was trying to go for the cheap or on the cheap rather,
Oh no,
for
of
things I
course.
could swing it. But how much was it if you remember
Oh,
for
oh,
VIP? I know you said you got
it
a deal, but
well, a deal by getting it for close to retail because the resale was double, triple what it was going for. But I think it was like
ooh,
700 or 800 or something like that, which is crazy.
it's
But
worth it.
like but like so for that, getting into that Lucasfilm panel, I don't know if you know what happened in that panel besides getting the bracelets. So I almost cried 3 times. I'm a grown ass man, and I almost cried three
No
times
shame,
during
dude.
this panel.
Yeah.
So the panel starts, the light turns black, right? And then all of a
Mhm.
sudden there's a choir in front of us. This choir starts singing Duel of the Fates, which is my favorite Star Wars
Uh,
song. So
I'm
I'm
getting
like
chills just
pumped.
thinking about it.
Oh, just wait. So they're singing that, and I'm hyped, and I'm like, oh, I love it. And then towards the
Mhm.
end, all of a sudden, Hayden walks out on one side of the stage, then Hewan walks out. And Hayden was a surprise because we didn't know he was going to be there. And they
Mhm.
invited us to come back to Kenobi that night, which was crazy. So that was fire. A little
That's
bit
awesome.
later, all they're talking about like Skeleton Crew, like John Watts comes out with John Fab. They're talking about Mando. We see like
Mhm.
the Mando season 3 trailer. We see some maybe like an Ahsoka tease because they're filming Ahsoka. We see some cool stuff.
Mhm.
Then the stage lifts up, spins around, and it's John Williams with his band. And we're like,
Yes.
holy
Yes.
shit. So he played the Kenobi theme for us. We were the first people to hear Kenobi's new theme for the show. Then he did like the Imperial March. Then it gets better. This is just
I mean, how? How does it get better?
so he starts playing the Indiana Jones theme song, right? And in the middle of that,
Yeah.
Harrison Ford just walks out on stage out of nowhere and wishes him a happy birthday. And then he starts talking about Indiana Jones 5. We get to see the trailer. We get to see like a 7-minute scene early. So it was crazy. And I want to say, I think that was it, but just Hayden
Mhm.
and Hewan, John Williams, Harrison Ford coming back for the red carpet because of that bracelet. It was worth
Yeah.
every bit of splurging for that VIP because if not, I would have missed all that. I would have missed the
Oh yeah.
Mando panel the next day, the Ahsoka panel. So it was insane, man, insane.
I, just all of that is amazing, but the Harrison walking out, which I'm sure he did in classic, badass Harrison style, all nonchalant, like, yeah, happy birthday, John.
Yep, yeah.
That's so
Like
awesome.
grumpy old man Harrison didn't want to be there,
Yeah,
but he was just there
I
showing love to
love
his
it.
boy. Yeah,
That's
which is
awesome.
and what's crazy, my first celebration was Orlando, and I didn't know
Mhm.
how the panels worked or nothing, but my boy went. His panel there, I think, was better than my panel. And like my panel was pretty
Okay.
good. So his panel was the Carrie Fisher like memorial panel because she just passed away,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So he got into this panel, and I don't think people knew who were gonna be there, bro. On stage, George Lucas, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford talking about Carrie Fisher. I would have been crying
Ugh.
with them just normally, but then them talking about
Yeah.
Carrie, there's that, right? So you have those three goats on stage in Orlando 2017. Then all of a sudden, a curtain drops and John Williams is there with his band and he does
Oh
Leia's theme
wow.
live there. So like when I heard that story, it's like, wow, that's the panel of all panels right there, man. Yeah.
I'm struggling to think of anything that could top that. Truly,
No.
besides her being there herself somehow. But
Yeah.
that's just incredible, man.
And that's why I
I
love
was lucky.
Celebration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was sorry to cut you all, man.
No, no.
I was lucky enough to go to the Mando panel in 2022,
Nice.
but it was one of those. You know how they had the
Viewing
huge
rooms.
queue. Well, no, it wasn't a viewing room. I actually got
Oh,
in the
okay,
main
okay.
room, thankfully.
Uh-huh.
It was genuinely the last seat in the top corner.
Wow.
But I was in the room, and that counts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was super cool. I took some video and tried to take some pictures, but you're so far up, you can't really zoom in. But
Yeah.
cool video of Mr. Boba Fett himself doing his
Oh, he's like,
dance, which was so
oh,
cool.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got that on video too. That's crazy.
nice.
What was like that Mando experience like walking through there? It was just props and stuff from the show, right?
It's from what I understand, it was all screen use stuff. I think some, obviously, like smaller things may have been extras or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but generally speaking, it was supposed to be scene used or screen used rather.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they when you first walked in, they had the full suit
Mm,
right there in the entryway. So you're sitting there with full on Mando and the whole
yeah.
logo in the background, and then everybody kind of walked up and took their picture in front of Mando or tried to hug him or something.
Yeah.
And right through there, the first room was all real small ships.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and which was super cool. But the main event was a couple twists and turns. Um, down the road a bit, but I mean they had the N1 in there in its
Ooh,
entirety, um,
wow.
with Mando and Grogu chilling in the cockpit, and
Yeah.
I mean we it was right after Book of Boba Fett, so they had a full throne room scene with Boba and
Mm,
Fennec, and they had Bo's costume. Basically, every character from Boba Fett and Mando was represented somehow, and
yeah.
there was it was like 3 rooms of stuff. It was absolutely incredible.
That is awesome. So your first celebration, are you trying to go to another one whenever it comes back to the States? Or like, are you thinking about Japan next year, 2025?
I would love to go to Japan, just to go to Japan, not
Yeah, yeah.
even just to go to Celebration. But no, I don't think I'm going to be able to swing that one.
Mm.
Do you know what's the rumor on where it's going to be when it comes back? I mean, I'd love to go to Chicago. I'd love
Uh,
to go to one up
s-
there.
so I know for a fact they have to do one 2027 because that's the 50-year
Hmm.
anniversary of A New Hope. So they love doing
True.
celebrations
Yeah.
on anniversaries.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I feel like 2026 they might do one because it hasn't been in the States. Last year was London, next year's Japan.
Hmm.
So it hasn't been in America in a minute. And like,
Hmm.
the latest rumors are they're trying to drop 2 movies in 2026. So like you need a celebration to help push that, to help promote that. I think we might get back to back in the States 2026, 2027. And what I would like would be like one Orlando and one Chicago or vice versa,
Hmm.
because they haven't been there in a while. So I'm down for either, but I would love Chicago more first because Chicago 2019 was my favorite celebration out of the 4 that I've been to. Like the place that they used was massive. When we went to
Hmm.
Chicago, it was a 5-day show. And like I think just the timing of that Chicago celebration was badass because we got the Mando season 1 trailer, we got Clone Wars season 7 trailer, we got the Fallen Order trailer. I think they debuted Vader Immortal, the VR game there.
Oh
It just
wow,
was
that's
like
cool.
it was just
Yeah,
badass. We got the Rise of Skywalker trailer and title reveal and
I do
Palpatine
remember
reveal
that.
that he was gonna.
Yes,
Yeah, so it
yes.
was a very
They
special
live streamed part of that,
celebration.
if I remember
They
right.
did, yeah, they
Yeah, yeah.
did from the crowd. So I would love it for Chicago, but I know every celebration, the very last day, they do the closing ceremony panel. And the very last
Hmm.
thing, they always announce the dates and location of the next one. So in Japan on April 20th, 2025, we will know for a fact when and where the next one is. So, yeah,
God, it's crazy. It's still a year away.
I know.
I felt like it was coming
Yeah.
up soon or something, but no, it's not.
Yeah. It's still like a year and a month away, man. So, yeah.
You're going,
I
right?
mean, 100%, man. 100%. So I've always wanted to go to Japan just because it's freaking
Mhm.
Japan. But like that
Why
18-hour
not?
flight, it's kind of like, I don't know. but now it's like it's
Gotta be
2
for
for
something
1.
special.
Yeah, so it's like celebration, 20-year anniversary Revenge of the Sith, freaking Tokyo. I'm gonna make it work. So me and my brother are going. My boy Ricky at Pop the Bounty Collector, he's coming too with his girl. And then there's a bunch of people that are going that we're gonna meet up out there. So it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a wild adventure, and I cannot wait like for all those crazy videos to drop like every day.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
to see how much fun you guys have in a year. But
Yeah,
still
yeah,
excited.
yeah. But at least in the meantime, we got ICC Con because that literally is just celebration, but just smaller and local.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it this year. I know specifically there is and you might have it too. Ooh, so there is one gunship that I'm missing because there's 7 TVC gunships. I have 6
Hmm.
of them. I'm missing the 7th one. And I think at ICC last year, on the last day when I was leaving, I saw it, but I was like, I don't want to go see the price. I was like, my money's already gone. I'm leaving. I gotta
Yeah.
fly back. So I didn't even bother. But like this year when I go, I'm looking for it right away. So it's the vintage collection
Hmm.
gunship with the ball turrets, and that one can be kind of pricey. It's probably
Yeah.
the most pricey out of all 7. Do you have that one?
I don't. I
Oh, okay.
didn't. I didn't get into vintage collection until it was past that point, unfortunately. So I
Yeah.
missed a lot of really good stuff, a lot of stuff that's almost cost prohibitive now and impossible
Hmm.
to acquire. But I'll get them eventually, But no, unfortunately not. That is definitely on my list, though, of things I want to
Yeah.
get. I mean, anything Clone Wars related. I love Clone Wars. I know you do too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's a must. You know.
Is there going to be anything you're going to be hunting for this year at ICC that you're going to have in the back of your mind that I'm looking for this at this show?
Well, the thing that I love so much about ICC is, like you said, it feels like a mini celebration because that's Mike's preference. Mike loves Star Wars. I'm sure he likes Marvel and DC and all the other nerdy stuff that we do too. But I love the focus of it because it's my focus too.
Yeah.
But the thing that I regretted not getting last year. Were a couple not vintage collection, vintage pieces.
Hmm.
So I was eyeing a Slave One. It was
Ooh.
beautiful. I forget exactly how much it cost, but it was nice and clean, complete. And I wish I'd gone back and gotten it, but I
Yeah.
was being responsible. And it's like, oh no, I can get it some other time. And I don't know. I just want to put it next to my vintage collection one and
Yeah.
be a nerd. But
Man.
what about you? Anything in particular besides obviously the gunship you were
So
talking about?
for sure the gunship, and then
Mm,
honestly, I don't know, just whatever deals. I think I want to really look for more vintage Kenner stuff there because there's a
yeah,
lot of it there, and there's a lot of good deals. So like, I want to kind of
great.
get that collection up. So like, I'm just gonna look for
Hmm.
a bunch of loose figures that I know I want. I'm gonna have like a little like checklist, like a little grocery list of the ones that I want. So definitely that. Oh, and my latest addiction, you can't even see them, is the Unleashed figures, the old
Oh,
Hasbro
they're so
Unleashed
cool.
figures. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember seeing a bunch there. I think I bought Darth Maul there actually. But there was a couple sellers there that had a whole wall full of them, and they're not even
Hmm.
like that expensive. So I think I'm gonna go Unleashed crazy, Gunship crazy, and Kenner crazy. And did you do the room the lobby swap in room sales?
The first year I went, my buddy, who's a little more immersed in that side of the hobby than I am,
Mhm.
brought me under his wing, and yeah, I did a lot of those room sales and the lobby sales. The lobby sales are super cool. Everybody's just chill with
Yeah.
their like tens of thousands of stuff they just casually bring out. I'm like, yeah, man, check this out.
Yeah.
You want to trade? I love
Yeah.
that. But no, I didn't do it last time. Just my dad was visiting. He's a big comic
Mm.
collector.
Yeah.
So we kind of he he introduced me to Star Wars, and he likes Star Wars, but he was coming to hang out with me. There was nothing really
Yeah.
interested in him, like he wanted to see comic
Gotcha.
books, and I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't have a ton of that, but he still had a good
Nah,
time.
yeah, I think there was only like one guy that had like a bunch of comics, if I remember,
Mm-hmm.
like there, just like one like big table full of them. That's it. It wasn't a whole
Yeah,
lot. So, did you
like
do
kind of in the
any like?
middle.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you do any photos or autographs while you were there?
No, I went into that area and I kind of walked around.
Hmm.
I wanted to do one, but I'll be honest, I ended up splurging a little more than I anticipated before I
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to that area,
Yep,
and
yep.
I was just, attempting to be moderately responsible. I say in
Yeah.
front of all this nonsense, but but yeah, I mean, I don't know. You got to draw the line somewhere occasionally. So I had to draw the line that day. But no, I really did want to. I almost bumped into Charlie Cox. That was kind of neat. Like I was
When
sitting there looking through some trading cards, and he
uh-huh.
walked out. Like this is the main show floor, and I
Yeah.
posted pictures of it. Back when the convention was happening, but yeah, he was right there. He literally almost bumped into me. I'm like, oh, that's Charlie Cox.
Oh,
Holy shit! Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
And so he was with a handler, but he was taking some pictures. Do you remember the Ninja Turtle
The
bus
turtle
that
van?
they had?
Yeah. Bro,
So
I gotta look at that video. You might be in the background. I have it on video, him going
oh
in
yeah,
there and him coming out. So I have that on video.
oh,
Yeah. So like I'm gonna look and see if maybe like the angle, like you're like, oh, there he is right there.
I might be.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's too funny.
yeah, yeah. Cause I saw
Because
that whole thing, him go in there, pose, take a picture. Then he
yeah,
walked down. He's like, hello, goodbye. Like so nice and smooth.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was real
Yeah.
quick, real in and out, but yeah, he
Yeah.
grabbed the skateboard and did a turtle pose. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, yeah, so freaking cool, man. I can't wait for him to announce who he's gonna have. I know one person because she was on a podcast recently and she said
Hmm.
she's like for sure going there. So the actor that played Ayla Sakura from Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, she's gonna be there
Nice.
for sure, which is cool.
That's cool. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the only one. And Ian McDermott, probably because he's like best friends with Mike Havens. He's there
That's what
every
I
year.
thought. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. How did they get to
Paps
be
will be there.
bros? I wonder.
I don't know. I think he might have talked about the story on a podcast because I
Mm,
think I don't know, but yeah, they're like best friends. Like he goes to his house, they hang out. He was telling a
yeah,
story how Palps was at his house sitting on his couch and how his dog was jumping up on him and stuff. Like they're like good friends and stuff, which is
that's so
crazy. Like
wild.
that's
Yeah.
such a cool friend to have. Just like Emperor Palpatine, just Sheev in your living room. Like what? Oh, so
I
cool.
mean, it doesn't get cooler than that. Yeah, truly.
Yeah, it
That's so
really
cool.
does. So, last thing we'll talk about to wrap up
Yeah.
is just all the Star Wars projects we're getting this year. Like, what are you looking forward to the most? So, like, we got Bad Batch right now, Acolytes
Hmm.
next, Tales of the Jedi season 2, and then Skeleton Crew we're probably getting this year. What are you looking forward to the most?
I mean, all of them. I'm one of those eternal optimists when it comes to Star Wars stuff. I mean, I'm a
Hmm.
you know glass half empty guy in general, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to Star Wars, I mean, it's our escape, our outlet. I try to be as optimistic as I possibly can, and I say that based on our back and forth about the acolyte yesterday, and just
Yeah, yeah,
it was a bit overwhelming, just like,
yeah.
wow, guys, we haven't even seen anything yet. We saw like 30 seconds of a couple cutscenes, and
I know.
I don't know. I'm still optimistic. It's going to be good. I'm excited for that era,
Yeah,
certainly.
yeah.
But as far as which one I'm the most excited for, probably Skeleton Crew, just because kind of like
Really?
Mando, I don't know what we're dealing with.
Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair. And
So it's exciting.
it's John Watts who did like the Spider-Man trilogy, like No Way Home and stuff.
Hmm.
So it's like he's pretty good and I think he's doing it with John Fav. So it's like
Hmm.
and with Skeleton Crew, it was supposed to come out last year and be first. Now all of a sudden it's last potentially this year. I'm wondering
Yeah.
if they're like tweaking it to make it make more sense and connect more with Mando, with Ahsoka, because it's in that time period. So I'm interested to see what happens in that show for sure.
That's again because of my Mando affinity. That's why
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's connected to Mando or Ahsoka. I mean, that's certainly the heavy rumor, and not even a rumor. Lucasfilm has stated like it takes place between this
In
time
between.
period.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, so I'm excited to see how it pans out. I kind of think that maybe because it's pitched, I think, as kind of like an Amblin production style show. So it's
Mhm.
about a crew of, I think, children,
Yeah, like 3 or
that
4
are
kids.
lost or something.
Yeah.
My theory, or is kind of that maybe the skeleton crew, or meeting them, is how Ahsoka and Sabine get back to the primary universe or
I
galaxy.
mean,
Thoughts?
potentially if they're in that galaxy, yeah, but I think so spoilers
Mm-hmm.
from Mando season 3, that pirate that got away, Bane, I think that's his name, Bane the pirate.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Skeleton Crew trailer we seen at London Celebration. So that leads me to believe that it's probably in the regular universe, not Peridia over there. So I don't know what to think, man. But I guess we'll see whenever we get like the full trailer for the show, you know?
And because I don't really know a lot about the Acolyte, I'm still excited about that. Just the not knowing. I know that stresses some people out, but
Yeah.
because of how amazing Mando ended up being, I I'm hoping for that again.
Yeah. Yeah. So with Mando now potentially being a movie and like no season 4, how do you feel about that? Like, would you rather it be season 4 or rather the movie? Like, what side are you on?
Well, I mean, again, we'll see when it comes out, and I'll try to reserve my judgment for
Mhm.
after we see it. But I, my initial gut reaction was a little disappointed. Um,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I am excited to have new Star Wars movies. I feel like
Yeah.
it's way too long since we've had an actual feature film, as opposed to all the shows, which most of the shows I've liked. So no complaints or anything, but
Yeah.
I want that cinematic experience again. I want to
Yes.
go sit in a seat and hear. I mean, not that my setup's not perfectly sufficient, but I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing quite like watching a Star Wars movie with 100 other people in a theater and everybody's losing their minds. So
Yep.
I want that again. But I am a little disappointed. I guess that they're not going to make it longer, so that, I mean, maybe
Mm.
with a movie it'll be less like filler episode stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously they did a lot in season 2, but I still loved all those episodes.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe we'll get away from that in doing it with a movie, but I just want more, and TV shows provide more. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's a math game, at least
No,
in my head.
that's true, and I do miss that cinematic experience, and I'm so glad Phantom Menace is coming back in because, like, that re-release, seeing the crawl again, I think it's gonna
Hmm.
be pumped because it's been so long. So there's also rumors that that same weekend on Saturday, the OT trilogy is gonna be in theaters for that one day, and on
Hmm.
Sunday, the entire prequels is gonna be in theaters for that one day. Like, that's a
Wow.
rumor. So if that's
Yeah.
the case, oh, like, if I get to see A New Hope on the big screen, I saw Empire in 2020, so I got that kind of checked off my
Oh, nice.
bucket list. I didn't see
Yeah.
Return last year, but being able to see Revenge of the Sith again, like on IMAX with Dolby Surround and seeing the Battle of
Hmm.
Mustafar again, I'm just gonna just be so happy if that happens, man. So happy.
I read somewhere earlier today, actually, that, and I forget where it was. It might have been like Alamo Draft House, or one of those boutique theaters.
Mhm.
So I could be completely speaking out of turn, but I read something where you can see all of the Spider-Man movies back to back. You
Oh,
can actually buy a ticket to see every single one.
yeah.
So I feel like you're definitely onto something. If they're doing that, surely they're going to do the same with the Star Wars marathon, right?
Yeah, so the Spider-Man thing, I saw that too, and I love
Did you?
Spider-Man. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to theaters, and they're doing one movie a week. So I think it's like the Monday of every week. They're starting with
Yeah.
Toby, so 1, 2, 3, then Andrew's movie 1, 2, and then Tom Holland's 1, 2, 3. So I think it's going to be in that
Okay.
order. So you could go the first week, see it in order, which is cool. So it's kind of tempting, but
Oh,
I
that
think
makes
it's
more
only
sense.
that one day. So you have to be like free and go that one day, which depends on
Yeah,
work. And yeah.
yeah.
So, yep.
Well, I mean, it would be borderline impossible to watch all however many 8 movies in a row anyway. So I guess that makes
I
more
know.
sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hopefully they do
Exactly.
something like that with Star Wars. I mean, I'd love to. Oh yeah, it's Monday. Gotta go see another Star Wars movie in the theaters again. Like darn.
Yeah. And like they'll be surprised like how much they'll make. Like I guarantee you, if they would have put like Revenge of the Sith out the same weekend as Madam Web, Revenge of the Sith would have outdid Madam Web like in a lot of these like new movies. It's crazy. They don't realize like the power of these movies, and like especially for the generation that didn't get to see prequels in theaters or OT, like that's kind of like bucket list for them in a sense.
Yeah.
So
Thankfully, when I was a kid, the local theater, which was not an IMAX or nice in any capacity. It was, one of the old school flat floor type theaters where
yeah.
if somebody tall in front of you or was in front of you, you were pretty much sunk.
Ah.
But my dad brought my brother and I to every single OT movie as they released in one summer, and it was
Oh,
amazing.
see, that's so special. So, yeah, May the 4th weekend is going to be real special, man, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to
So,
go and see Phantom Menace again.
oh, hell yeah. Now, that's pretty much everything that I have. Do you have anything coming up on your Instagram or your YouTube that the people could look forward to?
Well, I mean, like I told you earlier, I'm doing my best to kind of turn up my YouTube and TikTok presence. I
Mhm.
mean, predominantly, for the first couple weeks, all the TikTok stuff is just going to be repost from my Instagram. I mean, I'll shoot straight.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I will find more time in the near future to kind of broaden those horizons, and I'm hoping to do some more long form stuff. I do a bunch of unboxing videos and things like that, but
Yeah.
they're all speed unboxings to appease the Instagram algorithm. So
Yep.
I've had some requests, and I've wanted to do it for a while anyway, but doing like just a real time unboxing instead of a
Yeah,
speed
yeah.
one. So I'm thinking about maybe doing that on YouTube. If anybody has
Nice.
any suggestions on what they want to see, I mean, drop me a DM on Instagram anytime. That would be great.
Nice. Awesome. So for you guys watching, be sure to go check him out. The links to all his socials will be down in the description. But Patrick, thank you so much for your time, man. It was a blast.
Thank you. Absolutely,
Yep.
man. Thank you so much for
Yep.
having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And that's going to be it for this episode of Sith Talk, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.